So, sometimes, right? I've noticed something that when I'm stressed, I recognize that I'm in the state of being stressed. But while in that state, I utilize my creativity to pass time by, because a particular stress is a wave that comes by. And then after that wave passes, at least I have done something creatively. I mean, not dismissing the fact that stress can paralyze you.
Right.
But do you think makeup is that form of transportation that helps you ride the wave of stress?
I think getting the job done more than the art form is what helps ride that tide.
Yeah.
Yeah. I came to do something. I came to work. I came to do a job. And so that is the end goal all the time, every time, by any means necessary, without killing someone or breaking the law. But honestly, everything we stress about is literally to get the job done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But does makeup help as a form of transport to escape the tides, your stress? Because if it comes in with waves, it means you are going to experience all sorts of things like winds, the sand, dust that comes with it, you name it, and all the metaphorical.
Well, makeup is a form of therapy in itself, right? So with or without the stress, it's always a therapeutic thing for me to do as a makeup artist, whether I'm working on a face that's not mine or my own face, right? Thinking about how am I going to shape the brows? How am I going to give dimension to the face? Analyzing the face. Okay, so I have a round face and I want to give dimension to elongate it, right? All of that requires creativity. And I think the stress element for us comes in when we don't have all the time in the world to figure it out. So it almost becomes like an adrenaline rush for us, and almost like a competition with self to be like, I got this, I nailed this. So yeah.
And there I'm guessing, right, that all the, for lack of a better term, the joints that connect this entire department need to be lubricated in such a way that when they twist and turn against each other or into each other or away from each other, there's a smoothness that goes with it, right? And I align that with the question, Yoguti. We bring the element of actors in.
Right.
And you say a whole lot of times that an actor is your body of work as makeup artists. Can you expand on that a little bit, on that understanding?
When an actor comes to us, they are coming to us as a canvas for us to work on. They're coming to us as a vehicle for us to tell a story, but using makeup, right? They're loaning themselves as a body, as a human being to us for however the duration of a shoot, whether it's a commercial, drama, whatever, right? But that being said, that actors are our body of work. They are that in the literal sense, because this is on whom we actually rely on for a story to be told. Because if there's no actor, then we aren't able, wardrobe, art, all departments that work together to bring a character to life. Without the actor, who is our very body of work, we just can't. We have no purpose. So they're not only our body of work, they are our purpose as well.
Purpose to drive story, a purpose to portray what a story looks like in a physical sense.
They are. So the actors are purpose. They are our inspiration, our muse as well. because you have what's written down on a script, and you have what a creative director has given as vision, and you have what a director and a PPM has said, this is how they'd like to shoot and things like that. But all of that is hazy until you're presented with the person, the actor. Every other visualistic element all comes together once the actor is actually in front of you. I can design looks from inspiration and put a mood board together, but until I do a test or a trial on that actor, on that body of work.
So the body of work, right? It comes with its own driver, right? And when you have your own driver, there's room for conflict. What would you say the conflicts are?
You know, when you rent a car from a rental place, they come with their terms and conditions, right? And then they hand over the car to you. And as a makeup artist, I've got the obligation, the car in this instance is the actor, to, you know, drive it well, take care of it, you know, make sure that it, you know, stays true to condition, right? And so with actors, I need to make sure that they remain true to the character they're meant to portray. Now, we're dealing with human beings, with people who have opinions and feelings and are set in a particular way of doing things or accustomed to seeing themselves in a certain way. But the moment that an actor signs that agreement to say they are loaning themselves to a production to portray a character, the terms and conditions that they give aren't the only terms and conditions in play. The production in itself also has its own terms and conditions to say, you have loaned yourself to us, but you only remain of use if you comply to these terms and conditions. That is, we dress you, we make you up, we style you in this particular manner so that this character makes sense, so that this character comes alive, so that this character is true and authentic to story. You have people who are used to having black beard, but this particular character requires them to have blonde beard. And a person says, but I do not like blonde beard. I've never done blonde beard. But your character likes blonde beard, and your character must have the blonde beard. And sometimes it goes beyond the character just liking the blonde beard. Your co-stars, co-actors might even have lines that speak to that blonde beard. A whole character could be developed, a nickname, based on just that one element. Maybe you're called Blondie. There has to be something blonde about you. And so that's when the conflict and the compromise come into play.
So you know how in some of the teachings, right, they say which an actor thou shalt not judge your character's being. Are we facing a challenge here as an industry, based on your observation as makeup, that a lot of actors are actually judging their characters before they even set foot on that set? And how dangerous is it coming to wear makeup and going to set for your character if you've already judged them? How easy is it for the execution to happen?
It makes it very difficult and sometimes impossible for us to execute, because then you've already come with an idea of what you, as the person whose only obligation is to deliver the lines and let everybody else in the ecosystem deliver to you what is needed for your character. So when we come with this vision that has probably come from channel and multiple PPMs, which doesn't match what when you were running your lines and all of that, getting into character, then the conflict becomes such that sometimes the actor cannot reconcile the look that they're being given and deliver the lines because of that look. Sometimes the look becomes a stumbling block, a hindrance. But also for me, I find that when we get to that, as an actress, you should be able to take on whatever the character requires, because you're supposed to surrender self totally to the character. Unless it's a bio based on you as an individual, you're just portraying a character. And so if you cannot remove yourself from that, then we should ask the question, are you the kind of actor that knows how to surrender fully to character?
And with that, let's go to discipline. What does discipline look like in makeup for, let me just break it down from an actor's perspective and from the actual hands that work on this body of work that you guys cherish so much. I don't know if you got the
I
question.
get it. So discipline, I'll start with the makeup room in itself, the artists, because discipline is required and expected and demanded from both parties. We as a department have an obligation to discipline ourselves, to be people that keep our makeup studios clean, sanitary. A lot of people were very stunned by, oh, we have to change and work like this because it's COVID. And I was like, I have been working like this all the time. Hygiene is a discipline. It's not easy. Personal hygiene is a discipline, especially because we invade people's personal spaces. We are literally up close and personal, right? But also the discipline of knowing and understanding what the script is saying, where the story is going and who the characters are, and what your responsibility is to that particular actor to enable them to portray the character. You've got to be disciplined to upskilling yourself. So sometimes it means reading, sometimes it means watching a video and the like and the like. But from the actors, the discipline, I'd like to throw in respect in there, is that before we even go to discipline, you have to have respect for what we do. And if you have respect for it, then it's easier to discipline yourself to submit to the process. And that means if you're somebody that, say, for example, you are required to have nails, for example, you're not going to be wearing boxing gloves and you have nail tips, nail extensions. That's not the discipline that we require from you. You have an obligation to work hand in hand with us to preserve anything that we put on you that supports you telling the story as a character. You have to be disciplined to not read your script when you're in the makeup chair. Being in the makeup chair is not the time for you to be going through the script. That's our time. And a lot of actors are guilty because when you're looking down, we cannot work. We're on a time crunch. And so trying to fight for the time where you want to learn and look down at your script, which is something that you should have pre-prodded anyway, but in makeup. That, I think, is one of the biggest areas where discipline needs to come into play. But also just discipline of personal habits. We are not magicians to the point of if you come intoxicated, we can sober you up. We could give the illusion of clean eyes, but there's only so much that we can do. So there's also a discipline with substance, discipline with personal after hours behavior. It's your time. You're not on the clock. You're not being paid for it, but the results spill over to us. So when you come with your skin that is dehydrated because you spent a weekend out sunbathing, unprotected, not hydrating yourself, and your skin comes to tell us the story, that's a lack of discipline and respect.
So what I do outside of this room,
Yeah.
where I spend my time, can have an effect on my skin, which then ultimately has an effect on how I look on screen. And it takes away from the continuity that helped establish me as a character from the beginning. And now I need to be at a certain point with my skin, but I can't because I'm no longer in synchronicity with the first makeup that you guys have applied on me. So now, snaking.
Yeah, and not only that, it also becomes a budgetary issue because I need to now correct your wrongs. And it's not something that I had forecasted for, so it's not in budget. So now I am out of budget, or I have to have a conversation with the line producer to say, this is the challenge that we have. And we need to now take it to an outside specialist. So sometimes I need to take you to see an esthetician. I need you to go see a dermatologist. That is not something that was in budget. But in order to get you back to where you were, I need to do that. Or maybe a product that is not always an everyday product in your makeup process, but it is something that is almost like a first aid, you know. You're putting me out of budget. Don't do that. Nobody likes anybody who puts people out of budget. As an HOD, I don't like it. As a production, they don't like it either. So when you become too expensive, when you become high maintenance, then we just move on to the next talent.
How easy is it to move on to the next talent in this industry?
Nobody is bigger than the story. I think actors need to understand that nobody's bigger than the story. It doesn't matter whether you're in South Africa or in Hollywood, nobody is bigger than the stories. Your storyline can be changed just like that. Sometimes you are not even part of the change. It just takes one actor saying a line, and that's how you exit a story. So just so everybody understands that. Nobody, not the producers, not the directors. There's no one that is greater than the story. And the moment we all understand that and we all submit with great humility to the story and the process for the story to be told, the better for everyone else.
At what point do you, as the HOD, say it's enough now? This actor has actually done the most damage to this, and I can't really continue with him or her. Even my team can't. At what point do you, as a department, decide what it's enough?
I protect my team first and always. Then I look out for the actors. I'm very clear about that. My team comes first. And so if an actor is a problem to my team, if you are abusive, if you are rude, if you lay a hand, a finger, anything, if you lay something on my team, then you are out of my room. You will find your own makeup team, or I walk away with my team. My team is that important to me. But also, when your behavior, your conduct starts affecting other actors negatively, then it's time for you to go. When you become too expensive for what the budget allocation for your character is, and you fail to understand the size of your character within the story and how the budget aligns to your size in the story, then there's a problem. And then the conversation becomes, hey, production, this particular character is asking for or is demanding or requires ABC. However, this character, based on your casting, your instruction, the writing, the budget is just not budgeting. Do we accommodate and do you increase the budget for this character? Or do you have a conversation with the actor to help them better understand the character so that they manage their expectations to what the character actually is.
So there's a number of things that are coming up, right, as you are explaining this. So the first one is collaboration. And the second one is identity within the collaboration or the collaborative space that you're in. So on collaboration, an actor is an artist. But where are they? They are in a space that is full of other artists who are in other disciplines who have come together in one space to then create this thing called story.
Right.
I am sensing that there is a misunderstanding as to who the artist is, or a person saying, with Mina, I'm the artist, so therefore kind of declaring that y'all are just next, or y'all are just supporting me. How dangerous is that thinking? And is there that sense of distance between the actors and artists and other artists who are coming into this collaborative space?
Yes. So, firstly, I will say that yes, we are there to support you, serve, and protect you from yourself. But also, your being the actor and the star on screen does not make you the star in the makeup room. So you're a star on set. This is not set. This is the makeup room. We are creating the star for set in the makeup room. So the star in this instance is the artist, because this is the set for a makeup artist.
Okay, I know. You filled it up. Wait. So, I think that coming to my last question, right? Because that small answer, it filled up every single block, and it expanded. So whoever doesn't have the ear, askies, you'll play it again. Let's look at the influencers, and I just wanna I'm not laughing. Yeah. Okay, wait, hold up. On a general approach, is there a problem, or does the industry have a problem with influencers? On a general approach, I guess Kulumela.
Okay. There is. Okay. So I will say this, right? And I will echo the words of Paddy, amazing, brilliant casting director. As an actor, what makes you perfect for the role is the magic that you bring. Because there's talent galore in this country, right? But it's the magic that you bring for that particular character, that role that you're supposed to play, right? And sometimes it happens that the professional actor has the technical, has the academic skill set, or, you know, an armor of all of that, but they lack the magic. Magic can't be taught, but skill can be. We can give you all the technical support you need. We can give you all the artistry and all of that stuff. But if you don't have the magic, you cannot manufacture, you cannot fake it. And unfortunately, one of the greatest disadvantages is that the lens never lies. If the chemistry on screen is not giving, if the magic is not coming across, then it's not. So you will find that there are influencers who have the magic, but maybe lack the skill or maybe the discipline, the professionalism for set. But those can be taught if they are willing to learn. And so when you have an influencer come into our space and they're willing to learn, they're willing to be professional and things like that, then great. But if they're not willing to be part of the process, if they're not willing to be told or to invest, etc., then there's a problem. Because I think with the trained actors, this is where a lot of them come from, to say, we have trained for the discipline, we have trained for the, we're professional and, right? So why are we not getting the roles? Could it be that you've invested too much of the academic, too much of the technical, and totally lost the magic of what being an actor is?
So where do you then dive in or hone into the problem? Because you painted the balance, right? Mm-hmm. As to what the industry requires.
At the end of the day, art is that one thing that, yes, for certain disciplines you can go to school for it, traditional school, but there's also the school of life. And so really, which education do we value more? Should we be valuing one over the other? I value a doctor that has gone to traditional school. I want my doctor to have gone to medical school. I don't want my doctor to have been somebody who just hung around a hospital and has been exposed to the medical environment and has probably watched a video or two on YouTube and whatever, which are all great learning and observation environments. Not with my doctor, but with my hairdresser, my actors, my makeup artists. Some of the best makeup artists that we have in the world, like Pat McGrath, they self-taught. They practiced a skill. They honed a skill outside of a traditional institute, and they perfected it. So somebody that has learned how to braid and perfected the skill set and has an understanding of protecting my hairline so I don't have traction alopecia, I'm not going to be mad that they didn't go to a Paul Mitchell school of hairdressing and things like that. An actor is the same thing. Am I going to be terribly upset that the brilliance of this actor be marred by the fact that they don't have a degree to say that they're an actor, or they're a good actor, they're gifted, they're talented, they have the magic? Because they have it, it's there. And they've probably watched videos, they've probably, the crossover appeal. Somebody that's been on set as a gaffer suddenly wants to be an actor. They've been on set all their lives. Do we dismiss them from acting? Because they don't have an acting degree, they have a sound lighting degree. Can they perform? What's the end goal? To tell a story. In our industry, the end goal is to tell a story. Can you deliver? Can you tell the story? And can you tell it with magic? It's always about the magic. Whether it's sad magic, happy magic, but it's always about that. Can you tell the story? But
what of the view that, but actually what you are doing now is romanticizing the excuse of bringing in someone who does not respect the sacredness of the space that they are coming into. I mean, there's thousands of theater people that are out there, and there's thousands of people who have gotten a degree out there. I mean, why would you want to go for someone who, let's put it plainly, would you just are going for numbers?
This is showbiz, baby. It's about numbers. It's showbiz. We put on a show, but it's a business. If this influencer with 10 million followers makes an appearance versus you who is gifted, who will give a performance, I will take the numbers, because we're not necessarily saying we're putting profit over people. but we are definitely putting profit over opinions. But that's the reality of it. That's the reality of it. And, you know, people that trained to act, sometimes, and I've seen it because I've been in the industry for more than a decade and a half, that there are those who go to the masters and the PhDs of drama and art and that all they do is put the academic element to everything, and they lose the magic of just telling the story, make believing, because that's what we are in the business of primarily. We are doing make belief, right? But if make belief becomes too technical that we lose the magic of it, I mean, we're not shooting documentaries all the time. That works with documentaries, you know. But with anything outside of that, we actually do want the romance of acting. We do want the romance and the passion of associating with our favorite people on different mediums. And so if my favorite TikToker is on a show, I want to carry them with me from TikTok to whatever channel on TV. The whole, are they behaved, are they professional? That's a conversation. That's something that can be solved by having a conversation, by having a workshop. You know, we've got actors, trained actors, who now take the job of, say, medical people in the medical industry, for example, right? I know of people who are not medical doctors, but in their acting, their roles had a big element of med talk. So they're not medical doctors. For example, maybe you played the role of a dietitian. You now go into the marketplace and in different spaces outside of set talking about good diet, like a dietitian. But you've been given a script to read and to give out facts about diet. You're not a dietitian. Should you not be allowed that platform? Should other dietitians say, no, we don't want Jabu to talk about diet because he didn't go to food and nutrition school?
Okay, that's a good point.
Because essentially that's what we're saying as trained actors, to say we don't want anybody who didn't go to acting school to act. Why don't we hold room for ourselves and others? Why don't we use our gifting and our value to sell that ideology across? So you're the one that went to school. Behave like somebody who did go to school. That's a start. Show production the value of having somebody that went to school versus somebody that didn't. Do it in your behavior, do it in your conduct, and do it in your delivery. At the end of the day, if the one that delivers the most, that delivers well, that is reliable, that is professional, and carries the magic, is the one that didn't go to school, then we go for that one. But also, back to being a numbers game, because influencers value exposure, they don't know the rate of an actor. So whatever number is thrown at them, by virtue of being given a platform, because in the true and traditional sense of what an influencer does, you're to influence people on whatever platform, right? And then you get into a relationship with the product that you are influencing for. And so when you do that, your numbers grow, because your numbers as an influencer determine how much work and how many gigs you get. So an appearance on some show is definitely something that gives a boost to your numbers as an influencer. So sometimes the better currency for influencers is a spike in numbers versus a day rate on set. But for an actor, the industry standard of a day rate is what matters to them. Equally with the art form. And that's why they take this thing more serious than what sometimes an influencer would, right? And so as a production, you think, trained actor, influencer. Trained actor, mediocre, tika-tika-ring kind of social media presence. Unfortunately, everything is now driven by social media. I am not a big fan of it, but I am having to learn, you know? And then we have this person who has the following and comes cheaper. Are they as brilliant? Maybe not. But are they terrible? Not really. Okay.
Let's work with it.
Let's work.
And it is collaboration, because then you're collaborating social media with TV media.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the numbers, at the heart of all of this is the numbers. The numbers of viewership, but also the numbers of budget, rate, pay. Influencers are cheaper than actors. If you notice, a lot of influencers rarely ever get the opportunity to be an actor on a global every day. First of all, a lot of really influential influencers do not have the capacity or the time to commit to a production in that capacity. Unless if they're allowing the influencing to take a back seat so that the acting can take the front seat. So having an influencer come in once or twice at whatever rate and the show gains the traction that it requires, then they can, push the rest of the scenes and episodes and stuff like that with your regular actors who might not necessarily have the same pool appeal as what some of the influencers have.
Let's come to growth opportunities and your department specifically. You are contributing to an actor's growth through them doing their own makeup. Right, you walk in and it's a hectic day. Your team has their hands full of faces. And then you find that there's actors now who would not say, Mina, this is not my job, you must do my face. No, they actually are hands-on and they know where what is. And take me through that and also align it with the growth of your team who come in, others come in as interns, and then boom, they are now on the field and you are trusting them to actually do their job. And they do. And there's others that are sitting here reading the scripts while it's a mess. But it's a growth in chaos. Tell me about that.
Oh, I love that. It's a growth in chaos. Okay. There are people who are just generally wonderful people, nice for lack of a better word, right? And they just make life easy and enjoyable for the people around them. And we have people like that coming onto set who, A, they're open to learning, and B, they're open to helping. And sometimes you have actors that actually come with a very decent skill set because they've been around long enough, or they're generally makeup enthusiasts. And they are such a joy when they say, look, how do we do makeup for my character? I want to learn how to do makeup for my character. Will you allow me to do my makeup for my character? And when we train them and they can do it within the same time frame that we do it, then great. There's no harm, no foul, right? It helps us. So we have people coming like that, and others are maybe, I love makeup, I don't know how to do it. So on days that aren't as hectic, we do allow them and we say, okay, this is what you need, this is how you use it. Also, when we're doing the makeup, they're observing. So they're learning through observation. And then on days when it's light, they're not only observing, but they're trying it out. It's practical, it's hands-on. So there's that. But when it comes to team, you can only learn if you want to learn. You can only learn if you avail yourself to learn. And this is such a cutthroat industry. It's one of the most difficult industries to get into. And when you put your hand up and say, I want to learn and I'm willing to exchange time for experience, that is usually a much quicker way to get in. It's easier to motivate for an intern to join team than it is for somebody who is learning, must get paid, but they're not contributing value as yet. I think that's what a lot of people fail to understand, that in television and film, numbers are everything. You are an extra number, an extra mouth, an extra head when it comes to catering. You have to be provisioned for when it comes to seating, so that it's the catering department, it's the unit department that must make sure you've got a seat when you have breakfast, when you have lunch, right? And so all of those costs, somebody will be like, oh, but it's just one extra person. It's one extra person every day. How much is this cost to production for this one person every day for however long this is, right? So let's say we're shooting 5 days and the catering bill is 200 Rand per head. You're costing production 1,000 Rand a week. That's 4,000 Rand a month. You're on a long form for 10 months. How much is that? It's costing production 40,000 for you to come and learn. They don't owe you an education. They don't owe you experience. However,
But open up the industry,
we want to open up the industry, and we're happy to open up the industry. However, the way of the industry, this is one industry that lacks paid internships. So you see, in corporate, you have CETAs and stuff like that give to these corporates, and they give a budget for it. But in the film industry, there's not a lot of those opportunities happening. So the cost becomes a cost to production. It's not a cost to the state. It's not a cost to the National Arts, it's not a cost to NAC, to the National Arts Council. It's not a cost to NFVF. It's not. It's a cost to the production company. And the production company simply does not have that money. And also, it's not obligated to. I think there's an entitlement element also that we need to deal with. The production company doesn't owe you experience. But if you want to get it, you have to be willing to give something in return for that experience.
Exploitation. How
Is
are
it
you?
exploitation if you had no skill and you walk out with it because you've benefited? The reason why you were not budgeted for as an intern is because you were not needed. You were not a requirement for production to be able to shoot, right? They can shoot without you. For example, in my team, if there isn't a need for an extra makeup artist, they're not going to let me carry a makeup artist just to sit, right? So you are becoming an extra cost that A, they didn't budget for, and B, they don't need, because the department is able to carry the workload. We can do it. We are enough. But do we have room to step aside and let you learn?
I see.
So we make room. And I think a lot of people are like, oh no, yeah, nyang user. But you're also using us because we're teaching you.
And we are.
And we're feeding you.
Yeah.
Snacks and all. And people are like, oh no, but that's just allowing, for further exploitation. Don't allow yourself to be on a shoot for 3 months, 4 months, not getting paid in the name of because I want to learn. Give it a month, 2 months, and then at least start. If there's value and need for you, then let's have a conversation. Let's maybe help you on a weekly stipend, or let's help you with transport or something, Let's even give you a reference, because mind you, if a production takes an intern, they now have the obligation to train and ensure that there is an actual skills transference happening. So the production is working. The production is putting in resources. When you're learning, when I'm teaching you, I'm not attending to what production is paying me for.
Hey, this one it gets more and more complex, but
I think people just need to understand that, like, I'm using production resources to train you. I'm using production time. I'm using production premises to train you on set. So already, all this is so much of a resource allocation that you are not paying for, that is a cost to production, over and above the cost of food, over and above you benefiting the skill.
And the number of people that you are exposed to and the skill set that they've gone to. Yes.
It's an opportunity to network as well. So in my case, I am very open, and I actively invest in my team members going out there to do more. I invest in them learning more on the job, because I'm a big believer in educating. So when you walk onto my team, if you walk out the same, I failed at my job. For me, it's like one of my key performance indicators. Am I teaching? Are they learning? I want to duplicate and replicate myself in people, so that whatever skill set they bring, plus the Nothando way of doing things combined, becomes something even greater than just Nothando.
Thank you. I see Shai.